All right, Eagle Nation, a few days away from the Eagles preseason opener, but in the meantime, we had our final practice of camp today and a couple interesting developments both on the field and off as Jalen Hurts continues to shock the world with his dominance, but is there trouble in paradise with certain relationships? We will get into that, and I'll tell you why I need to rant, but first off, welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, hit the like button at the end of this video. If you do enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell as we will keep you up to date every single day with the coverage, and we have a lot to get into, but we will start with our guy, CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's been having a great training camp, and apparently he has some type of shoulder injury, but thankfully, John Clark reports that it is not a long-term issue. He should be back, hopefully ready to go. We still don't have notice on whether the starters are actually going to play in the preseason or how much they will play, so we'll keep our eyes on that and monitor it, but good to hear that it is not a long-term injury. Also, one thing I wanted to highlight, Devin White, the Eagles linebacker, even though his name is spelled wrong here, went on a podcast and said that he took less money to sign with the Eagles to win a Super Bowl. Quote, "If I come here and be a dominant middle linebacker, they ain't ever have that." Everything this guy has said, from the group chat with AJ and Jalen to things like this, taking less money, taking a pay cut, coming here to try to win. Love this guy's mentality. The Eagles are going to need superb play at the linebacker position. They're looking for a lot out of guys like Devin White, and they're going to need to step up. But we need to get in to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll start off with the good, okay? Happy birthday, Jalen Hurts, 26 years old, a franchise quarterback, hopefully for a very long time for these Philadelphia Eagles. Hopefully will help this team win a Super Bowl one day. Big happy birthday to our guy, Jalen Hurts. And today he actually made history. Happy birthday, Jalen Hurts. He has gone 158 consecutive passes, now even more at the end of practice, without an interception. So he just broke the record in training camp for most passes without an interception. He has been laser focused. He has been on it in every area of his game. It reminds me a lot of the things we were saying a couple years ago, but at that point it was still unknown, right? He didn't have that breakout year yet. Jalen Hurts seems to be locked in every single angle, and he seems to be on top of his game, and hopefully he can have an MVP campaign and help this Eagles team get back to the Super Bowl and this time win it. That way we can shut down all of the naysayers. We're not going to go over everything from practice today, really just a walkthrough for part of it, and then a couple simple drills, and then mostly just, simple stuff, right? Like, running through some situational plays and things like that. It seemed like it was like half and half from my understanding, but I'm not exactly sure. However, Eagles ran a situational play with a 3rd and 5, and Hurts hits Devontae Smith across the middle for an easy first down. That is music to my ears. It just stands out because how many times did the Eagles last year have these situations and they're trying to throw verticals or they're trying to throw a sideline route, on 3rd and 3. Like, it just didn't make sense. So I love the fact that they're simplifying the game and making it easier. And once again, just another really good day out of Jalen Hurts, Devontae, AJ, Johnny Wilson, once again, getting first team reps. Seemed like a really quality practice. And he also had a nice touchdown throw to Dallas Goedert, where he lofted it over a defender perfectly into the hands of Goddard from about 15 to 20 yards out. Every throw's been on point. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. I know it's only camp, but it's good to see him locked in already. But we got to talk about what happened off the field because I'm pretty mad right now, and I don't want this to be a whole rant video about media and reporters and ESPN. We've done that this offseason, but Jalen Hurts had to respond today to an article that was put out this morning by ESPN. We'll get into that in just a second, about his relationship with Nick Sirianni, right? They pressed him for weeks about this answer in the press conference, and now they're back with it, and he has to respond to it. So let's just hear what he has to say about this report.
I appreciate what you guys do and everything you guys bring to attention. And sometimes I understand, and I think sometimes people are only able to know what they understand. Sometimes people don't know what they don't know, but in that regard, I think, where we are, actually, you have reports and you have rumors and then you have reality. And, we're in reality right now.
You have rumors reports, and then you have reality. We're in reality right now. He said sometimes people just don't know what they don't understand. You know, you only know what you know. And I respect that from Hurts. Great answer. But let's talk about the ESPN reporters. Okay, why did he have to address this? Because a article was put out this morning by, who was it by? Tim McManus. Tim McManus put this article out about Jalen Hurts. Eagles look to bridge the divide between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Okay. So am I going to sit here and say that all this information is irrelevant and none of it matters? No, I'm not saying that. I commend them for doing their job. But you put this out 2 days before the preseason is going to begin. You put this out on a day where it's Jalen Hurts' birthday and he just broke a training camp record. He's been on top of it. He has been excellent, superb. You put it out on this day. Like I said, I know they're trying to go and grab the most attention, but it's annoying with their placement of things. So just keep all this in the back of your head and you make the best, interpretation based on how you think things went or how you think, they're trying to express this information. That's all I'm going to say. But a couple quotes I want to highlight from this article that I think are important. And with that being said, is this true? Doesn't matter. So the first one is this. Sirianni's message was clear. He sat down with the team recently. Last year was on me, on my shoulders. I didn't get it done. He took full responsibility. He felt he let the team down and didn't do a good enough job of empowering the players. It was passionate and from the heart. That's great, right? And, I said that as well. Like at some point, he's going to have to regain this trust because if the Eagles start off bad or if they go in a downslide, are these guys going to react? Are they going to trust Nick Sirianni? I've always been in the mindset of when players quit on a coach, it's usually over, but kind of a unique circumstance this year with Nick Sirianni. So he's going to have to regain that trust and that communication with his players. But now we start to really dive in to the spicy details, okay? Things were off, including between the head coach and quarterback. ESPN spoke with several sources who detailed a prolonged strain between Hurts and Sirianni during the 2023 campaign, with one source with direct knowledge describing the relationship as fractured and unhealthy. At the root of the divide, a disconnect in offensive visions with what a team source described as a lack of full respect for Sirianni's X's and O's. With 2024 on the horizon, there's hope the new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, can bridge the gap between the two. As one source close to Hurts put it, both Hurts and Sirianni made efforts to take accountability and mend fences this offseason, but their next stress test will have Sirianni coaching for his job and Hurts fighting to reclaim MVP form. So, once again, they're trying to paint this in a negative aspect that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni have a bad relationship. They're trying to mend it. Kellen Moore has to be the savior. I don't understand why you're putting this crap out again 2 days before the season. This is over with. This is done with, okay? If it comes out and they start 1-5 and things go bad, then yes, let's bring it back up. But why? Why are you doing this right now? Again, people don't like Philly. They are trying to sabotage Philly. The Hurts-Sirianni dynamic does not work well when it's 1-to-1, requiring a third party to be prominently involved for the offense to run at a high level. Nick can press on you. Johnson last year was a play caller, but Sirianni would make his presence felt, overruling Johnson in real time as he did on a critical 3rd and long play against the Commanders in Week 4 when Johnson wanted to pass and Sirianni dialed up a run, which did not pan out. The line was blurred enough that some offensive players didn't know for sure who was calling the plays, a team source told ESPN. There's just a lot of mumble jumble here. And again, I am a little bit concerned about Nick Sirianni. I've already known, though, and this is why I was mad when the Eagles lost Steichen, because Sirianni does need a good offensive coordinator. We saw this in his rookie year. This is not new news to the Eagle fans because they started 2-5. He had to turn over play calling duties to Steichen. That's when they turned around. And that's why last year when Johnson didn't really have a clue, and it seems like Nick was trying to press him and take away that responsibility, there was definitely a disconnect, and maybe Jalen Hurts felt weird about it. All I'm saying is I don't like the timing of this, but, maybe there is some truth to it, and we should keep our eyes on it. Now, this goes back to the Seahawks game, which was one of the worst explanations I've ever seen and heard. And this is where they tried to throw that deep ball with 13 seconds left instead of getting in field goal range. And Sirianni answered by saying that they were trying to essentially draw a pass interference, as it says, a bizarre explanation that drew more criticism, proved to be cover for his quarterback play. And it says, Brown revealed he and Hurts improvised on the play. Sources with knowledge of the situation say it did not happen all the time. It was a prime example of Hurts deviating from the script. So again, there was disconnect where Hurts was calling his own plays. He didn't care what Sirianni had to say, and he was kind of just doing his own thing. Okay, fine. We knew that. We kind of heard rumblings of that. But here's where it gets very interesting. The playoffs were approaching. The Eagles lost in week 18 against the New York Giants, right? They were crashing and burning at the end of the season. And Jalen Hurts actually called defensive coordinator from the Giants, Wink Martindale, who parted ways with New York following week 18. Martindale says, "I've been doing this for 40 years. It's the first time I've ever had an opposing quarterback call me up. I thought it was pretty cool that he called. It shows you what kind of pro he really is, just looking at every angle that he can to get better." And Jalen responded to this today as well in the presser by saying that, yeah, he was just trying to pick his brain and learn a little bit. So I really respect this as a leader from Jalen Hurts. I think it shows a lot of maturity, but I also think he was kind of scrambling, like the Eagles needed some answers, and he's calling other teams' coordinators. He didn't even trust in his own guys to try to figure this out. And I don't know why they threw this in, but it says that the front office also discussed hiring Bill Belichick, which we heard rumblings of. I don't think they ever would have done it. I don't think that's really true. And lastly, it says last year it was Nick was going to do what Nick was going to do. It looks like he's trying to change that. Multiple sources believe Hurts absolutely tuned out Nick Sirianni at points last season, and Hurts as a leader will need to improve on a habit of shutting people out when frustrated. I think that's not fair at all, man. I've never heard things like that with Jalen Hurts. They've talked about him trying to become a better leader vocally and things like that, but shutting people out, he seems like a very good pro to me, and I think this is just a shot to try to bring him down and to hurt the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't really appreciate that, especially a couple days before the season's about to begin when Hurts has been nothing but A+ so far this summer. So that's where I'm at with this. I don't really like the timing of it, but maybe you disagree. Give me your thoughts down below in this article in the comment section. Are you worried about Jalen Hurts and the relationship with Nick Sirianni? Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Also, real quick, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor of today's video. It is the great BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using our code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlays, live bets, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So go ahead and find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you do not win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.